You're listening to Turi Writer's She Said What podcast. I'm Turi, along with Marcy Persky, who is just back from the emergency room, where she spent the day flat on her back and surrounded by cops. Also, how to train your puppy the Megadeth way. According to your spouse and to you, you spent the last day in the emergency room. What on earth?
I don't know. It was so weird. It was really weird. I don't know. I had a migraine, I guess.
You guess? Wait. You guess?
I guess. I don't know. I had a bad headache.
Okay.
And then it went away and I was okay.
Okay.
So then in the morning, I guess, this is going to be like around quotes. I fed the baby like every morning. Eve brings little man over and I give him his bottle because he's just so cute. And then Eve and I were talking, and all of a sudden I couldn't remember anything that happened like the night before or that I fed the baby already. It was just really weird. So Eve called Frankie because they're all alarmists.
Well, look, wait. I know that your daughter is a big hypochondriac. I realize that. But
yes,
if my mother suddenly couldn't remember anything that had happened the day before, and
yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think that at that point I might call somebody, like an ambulance.
Well, he came rushing home. Of course, he took me all the way to the hospital. And it was a migraine combined with a blood pressure reaction, I think. And they poked me 600 times. I have a really huge bruise on my arm because I have veins that are hard to get.
You also hate needles. This cannot be too good for your blood pressure.
I was dying. No, nothing was good for my blood pressure. Being at the hospital was bad for my blood pressure. Seeing sick people was bad for my blood pressure. The whole place was teeming with cops, which is bad for my blood pressure.
Why was why was the whole place teeming with cops? It's a hospital.
Because here's what happened.
Oh boy.
Of course, the day that I get sick.
Yeah.
A police car hit a pedestrian car.
Ooh.
A really bad crash.
Ooh.
And so all the doctors were busy with that.
You mean with your whole collection of vintage T-shirts, you don't have one with an I back the blue logo on it that would have gotten you a little more attention, maybe?
I have one that says get out of jail free, like a Monopoly card.
I don't think that would have helped you.
No.
So what next at your day in the hospital? Yes.
I was starving. I was like so freaking hungry. I couldn't stand it. So when they finally let us go, I started rattling off places for Frankie to take me to eat. And of course, the first place I picked, their oven was broken. So you couldn't eat there. Second place I picked, we decided it was like way too crowded. Third place I picked, I've never scarfed down food so fast in my life. We just went through like a hamburger drive-through. And
did you make him go around again?
No, but I came home and ate again. I'm okay now. I don't know what it was. It was a freak thing. I have a purple arm, and that's the story. It was exciting.
Wow.
And I got a really, really long nap because whatever medicine they gave me made me sleep.
I'd never heard that a migraine could make you lose your memory. That's wild.
Isn't that crazy? It was just really bad. I've never had a headache that bad. And my whole head was exploding. Anytime someone talked to me, I just sounded like it was so loud. And I don't hear anything. So that was the first clue that something was wrong.
Yeah. I'm glad that they figured out what was wrong and that you're okay. And
yeah.
You finished your hamburger before you even made it out of the drive-thru. That's impressive.
And fries. Both. And then came home and ate. But yes, I was really hungry. And now today I'm going to have to put the baby in his new off-road stroller and take him for a big walk to work off all that weight I gained by eating 24 hours to make up for the 24 hours I did not eat.
Oh, well, the whole obsession with bodies taking things in and putting things out around our house has been a little problematic because of the foster dog.
Ah,
I normally object to the phrase triggering, but there's something about the spousal unit that he likes to feed things. And so we got this foster dog who had been cruelly abused and starved, and he was half the weight he should have been. So half the conversation around here has been what we've been able to feed the dog, and the other end of that is what we've picked up from the dog. And the spousal unit is way more interested in the latter than the former. So finally at breakfast today, I'm drinking my coffee and I'm eating my yogurt, Greek yogurt and banana, and I'm hearing about the contents of the bag. And I just finally looked at him and I said, you, you know, I think you need at least one more friend. You need a friend with absolutely no life at all so that this is actually interesting. And you need to get that friend pretty soon, because after almost 30 years of marriage, I cannot believe that you haven't figured out that at my breakfast, while I'm having my coffee and eating my innocent little yogurt and banana and almonds, that what I really want to hear about is the details of the bag and what went into it. I just
what
find
are
it.
you feeding the dog?
Oh,
Can
for
I ask?
Pete's sakes, the dog gets regular premium kibble with a little bit of vegetable oil to add calories, and treats, when he does good stuff like sit, which he had no idea what that even meant 3 weeks ago. But the spousal
So what
unit,
is there to analyze?
well,
That doesn't sound like a lot of variety
that's a
that
really
there should
good,
be.
a really good question, isn't it? But
Maybe you should buy him a microscope.
do you, it's not so much that it's the presence or absence of appropriate bags and texture and heft and all of these things that I really, if I go on much longer, I'm going to throw up right now. I mean, I'm trying to remember if we were this obsessed when we had children in diapers. I mean, I cannot.
No, no, those are the worst.
Yeah,
Baby diapers smell worse than dog duty.
they do. And I don't understand why he finds this a topic of interest. The
Like I
joke,
said, microscope. Stick it in.
I'm
Stick
telling
it
you,
far, far away.
unless there's something that actually happens in the house that requires cleanup, which with this little guy, it seems that sometimes it does. And I'm now halfway through a 10-pound bag of Arm& Hammer baking soda, because that is the city of refuge for people with dogs in difficulty. He's known in the family for being fascinated by this particular bodily function. One time we were in some exotic place, I think Toronto, and we're driving around
Exotic.
looking, well, not Chicago anyway, and we're
You don't think of Canada as exotic. I'm sorry. At least I don't, being from Michigan.
someplace that wasn't home. And we're
Yes.
looking at the sculptures and the sites and the buildings and the lake. And the spousal unit says, "Look, a dog pooping."
And see, we're the opposite here. My husband's head blows up every time someone poops in the house that isn't a human.
I'm not
Maybe,
saying I'm not saying anybody here likes it. I'm just saying
yeah, no.
that
I'm
it gets
just
way too much
interested.
fascinated. Yeah, no,
TMI.
yeah, to
But I
experience.
have dog news that will make you roll your eyes back into your
Oh
head.
no, you've decided to keep that French
Yep.
bulldog,
No, English bulldog.
whatever its
He's like the
nationality.
size of two Frenchies.
Does it
Anyway,
wait? Does it speak any other language? Does it even speak English yet?
no, she grunts like Muttley from the cartoons when I was a kid.
Okay.
She only grunts
Okay.
because she's a bulldog.
Okay.
Um, but we tried a different training technique, and it actually seems to be working. And she's listening to us. She's listening to Frankie. She's not trying to bite him anymore. She's likes the baby. She doesn't like Minion, but she's not attacking him.
What is this
And
training technique? Now you must tell me.
it's called being mean.
Oh,
It's called aggression meets aggression. and show her that we are the bosses.
More.
And instead of giving her treats when she's good,
Mm-hmm.
she goes in her bed when she's bad. In that voice.
Good.
Like death metal.
Oh, like I am Iron Man.
It's death metal.
Lucky
death
for you,
metal,
you've
the
had
death metal method.
the death metal method.
Yeah, and she actually obeys
Well,
when you talk to her like that.
may I say something about your new methodology?
It works with kids too.
Yeah, I've embraced that method. I think I inherited that methodology somehow. That's my default methodology because my girlfriend, I'm going to actually see this afternoon, adopted these two charming little toy poodly things. I'm not a huge fan of little dogs, but you know, you love what you love. And she was doing all of this nice treat reward, and the dogs were learning nothing. And I said to her, "This will not work. You need to get right in their faces and scream at them in the loudest, most obnoxious, scary voice you've got." And she said, she's a very calm person. She said, "What do you mean by that?" And I said, "I mean like this." And she recoiled 2 feet. And then I said, See, it works. And so she summoned up from somewhere. I still have trouble believing she did it. But she must have learned it fast because she got tired of going through baking soda, and the dogs are now better behaved. The most elaborate version of that also works on children, I'm told, by certain parents.
Well, actually, I learned about this death metal type of training.
Yeah.
It's how the Israeli army trains its Belgian Malinois and German Shepherds.
Oh, boy.
I'm not kidding. So it's Israeli death metal screaming dog training, and I'm going to write a book.
Oh, I'm sure the Israelis already have. Next thing, you're going to have a dog that learns like Krav Maga.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why it's my default setting to get right in their faces and yell. I have done this with my children before sarcasm worked on them. Fear worked pretty well.
I mean, one of the big fears was that Belly, the English bulldog, that's her name, was going to get hurt. Not that she was going to bite someone, but that she was going to snap at Frankie, and one day he would snap.
When it comes to being loud and getting in someone's face, I'm guessing Frankie is perfectly suited to this task.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I do win the prize for the loudest husband, I think, in the Western Hemisphere. But it comes in handy sometimes, like when you're trying to train a bulldog.
I think it's time that you looked your beloved in the eye and said, "Thank you for your tone of your volume, the volume of your voice." Pardon?
I can't say that.
You can't?
I said I can't say that. No.
Why not?
That's the only thing that I yell at him about. He said he's too loud.
Well, let me get that. There's a beautiful sentence. That's the only thing I yell at him about, that he's too loud.
I know. We're both old yellers.
Yeah. I still remember when I called my girlfriend and was really upset that I'd yelled at the spousal unit in front of the baby. And she said in her beautiful radio voice, "Music of the womb to him."
Yeah, the baby. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The baby will never remember.
No. Well, no, he had spent his whole in utero time listening to
you
me
yell.
yelling at the spousal unit. Other parents play Bach and Brahms or the Grateful Dead, or there were a whole prenatal group full of women discussing what they should play for their babies in the womb. And I'm thinking, you got the rest of your life to have stereo wars. Why start now? But
exactly.
after the incident where I yelled at the husband and realized that the baby was there and thought I'd done irreparable harm, I realized that in fact he had been hearing it since he was a zygote. So I felt, thanks to my girlfriend, less guilty. And that's really what it's all about, is going through life with a minimal amount of guilt.
Exactly. I mean, I grew up in a yelling house.
Yeah.
So that makes me exactly kind of the opposite.
Oh.
I hold it in, hold it in, hold it in. I'm the opposite of you, as you know.
Yes.
I will hold it in until it's unbearable. Then I go looking for a weapon.
And now you know the weapon to use. And
it's my voice. My death metal voice.
Long live the voice. Thanks for listening to the Turi Writers She Said What podcast. Since you've made it to the end, you might want to know that my book, She Said What? A Life on the Air, is not only available in print, but now also in complete audiobook form, narrated by me and available on Audible.